Hi, another tutorial. This one is on Google Forms. Very basic, how to set it up, how to get some questions in there, and a little bit about the do's and don'ts. So very much a beginner basic with Google Forms. So let's get going. First of all, you're going to be able to find this screencast and a whole bunch of other resources. If you go to the school website, come down on the left-hand side, click on Technology Integration. Underneath my picture, you're going to go ahead and click on Technology Coach. Here you'll see the screencast right here. You'll also be able to see Google Forms, a lot of different resources. Okay, but let's get going. Let's take us through this. First, I'd like to have you go to My Drive. So when you're in your own Google Drive, you'll see all your resources and you'll see the blue button up in the upper left. Let's click on New and then come down to More. You'll need to slide over to the purple icon. That is the icon for Google Forms, and you click on it. That'll automatically put a new untitled form into your Google Drive. In order to title this, come in here first, click on it, and then just go ahead and put in your title. At that point, you'll see it still says untitled form up in the upper left, so all I do is click on that and it transfers over. Now if you look at the icon, everything has sample test. You can put in a description at this point, but right now let's get running with this. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put in our first question. Actually, the very first thing I tend to do is put in a name. Now you will have, the forms will automatically go ahead and grab a timestamp and their email address, the student's email address, but I like to put in the name as well. So just type in name, and then because it's going to go ahead and create a spreadsheet for me, I'm going to go last and then first, just to make it easy and get everything organized. You can see, maybe you didn't, the default was multiple choice, but the minute that Forms reads that you're doing a name, it's anticipating that it's going to short answer. We got everything set up there, except that I want to make this required. Keep in mind that the default is not required. Okay, so there we go. We got a title. We have our first question, if you will, name. Let's go ahead and add. Now the toolbar's over here. Add a question. I'm going to click here. Let's go ahead and do that. And we come down and we are on our next. So let me just put in a simple question. And like I said, a very basic, what is your favorite color? Now at this point, I don't want a short answer. Let's play around with it a little bit and let's do the drop down. You can see that I have a lot of options right here. Short answer, paragraph, multiple choice, check boxes, drop, linear scale, like on a scale of 1 to 5, multiple grid choice, etc. Let's go ahead at this point, let's make it a multiple choice. Now it sets it up down below for me. Option 1, I click on, and then I go ahead and type in my first answer. That's set to go. I click on the next right here, and then I type in my second, and so. Now I'd be here for a while if I'm going to put down all the colors, so what I'll do instead is I'll put down 4 possibilities, and then I'll add other. And what this will allow, if someone goes ahead and if a student checks this, they'll be able to type in their answer. So now we have 2. Let's say I'm going to the third and I'm saying, okay, I could go ahead and hit that plus, or, I'm going to use these same colors and I'm just going to be asking a different question. Well, let's save ourselves some time. Come down here and hit the duplicate. When you hit the duplicate, you can see it duplicates it. So all I need to do, if I'm going to be using these, is just come back up here, change the question. And what do? I just go ahead and I change the question. However, in this, I've decided to go a whole different direction. So let's go ahead and, I'm not going to even go here. So let's just go ahead and delete another option that's down below. And now we go back to our original name and first question. Keep in mind that Forms is a little different than Docs, Slides, and Sheets. It does not have a revision history. It does not have a back arrow. So if you delete something, it's deleted and you can't go back and capture it. So just keep that in mind. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the other things that we can do with this toolbar. Add the question we've already explored. This would be a title and description. This is to add an image. For instance, if you're putting a picture of a body, and then in a health class or a science class they're identifying parts, you could go with any YouTube video. And then the last is that you could add a section, which will take them into different areas. more on that on another video, another screencast that will give you a little more advanced. Before we leave this for today, however, what I would like to do is go up here and take a look at some of the things. We already saw the title over here. I'm going to skip the add-ons. Again, that's going to be another screencast. You can go ahead and you can change the palette. If you change the color, the default obviously being purple, you get a different look. One thing that I would suggest that if you're ever going to use forms for quizzes in your class, you're going to want to go ahead and have something vibrant like this so you can see when a student has moved on to a different tab. Obviously something you may not want to have happen when he or she is taking your quiz. This eye in the sky is a preview button, allows you to see what it's going to look like, and just then I get a feel for it. Then I X out and I go back to the original. It also has a settings. This is pretty key. It collects the email. I always want to have that. It's restricted to South Windsor Public School users, and I typically go ahead and limit to one response. There are a couple others that will be down here. For the responders, I tend not to use those, but I made an adjustment, so I save it. Now I go back to the settings because I want to show you a couple other things here. You can go to presentation. If this was a long quiz or test or survey, I might want to show them where they are. You're 50% in, that kind of thing. And if it's a quiz, I might want to shuffle the question order so that the person sitting next to me doesn't have the same exact order. They have the same questions. Down here, your response has been recorded as the default. You can personalize that. Last but not least is the new feature, relatively new features, quizzes. If I decide I want to make this a quiz, I just flip this right here, but I'll stop at this point because we'll pick that up with a later screencast. So that's about everything I wanted to show you. Oops, I'm sorry, I always forget this. You come over here, 3 dots allows you a lot of different things. For instance, making a copy. If I want to go ahead and send this out to my first period class, but I want to get separate data from my 4th and 5th period classes, then I'm going to need to make a copy for each of those individuals. I'll skip down here to add collaborators, a wonderful way for us to go ahead and share the load. And then the last thing that I haven't clicked on, which everybody's a little cautious to click on it. If you click on this, you're not sending it right now. You're getting information that you can send it. This is if you want to email. Okay, that could be to colleagues or something along those lines. This is an embed code if you're going to put it up in your website or something along those lines. This link is what we typically use. I tend to shorten it and then come over here and copy it. This is the link that we'll paste into Google Classroom if we want them to go ahead and use respond to our Google form. That's just a little. That's a few of the basics of Google Forms. Wonderful for surveys, exit slips, quizzes, long assessments, and short assessments. Let me know if you have any questions. Have a great day.